All right, so today we're going to jump into Ethereum and maybe do a little bit of price analysis on the future of where Ethereum is going. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back to TechPath. With me today is Lisa Francoeur. Great to have you in, of course, always in the studio.
Always a pleasure.
I love it.
Super excited for this one.
All right.
I love Ethereum.
We do these market movers from time to time. One thing to remember, market movers will compile a whole layer of stories. We put together some analysis, give you some additional predictions. But remember, this is not investment advice. The number one thing you need to do, as always, is do your own research. Hopefully this show gives you guys at least a starting point of how things can put you in the right direction. And then you can make your own decision. Like me, I was looking at a point where I was saying, hey, anything that ETH did under the price point of around $2,000, I was a buyer.
Yep.
So that's kind of where we are. Let's jump to this first story. ETH 2.0 exceeds 200,000 validators. What do you think about this?
I love to see it. And, I, as someone who is a NFT aficionado, recognize that the Ethereum blockchain has presented, from a utility standpoint, a tremendous opportunity as far as the various use cases. And so with the coin itself and just what's happening in the Ethereum ecosystem, you've got the London Hardfork that's coming, and that transition to proof of stake is getting a lot of folks excited about the lack of carbon emissions and just like the much more efficient, proof of stake associated with that type of protocol. So, look, I think that this is a really good time, whether you're an Ethereum maximalist or not, this is a really good time to be considering Ethereum as an investment. But let's unpack why, Paul.
Yeah, I like these numbers when you look at this article here. ETH 2.0 staking continues to surge upward. Validators, that was the 200,000 validators. This growth, over 20,000 new validators, impacted the amount of ETH staked, which was pretty significant because that's presently at 6.6 million ETH is being staked.
Totaling over 14 billion, Paul.
Yeah, so that's a big deal. I think for that alone, you're already seeing some movement in the aspect of where the underlying architecture of ETH and the validation of it, but also the confidence in the category is a big deal.
There's so much value that's being unlocked.
Yeah. The other is when you look at their investors. This is the other aspect. This was a piece on Benzinga, recent in-house study. I'll let you take this. This is a pretty interesting thing.
Yeah, very interesting. Ethereum investors are holding their investments for the long term. On-chain metrics, Paul, collected from Glassnode, shows an increase in the amount of Ethereum staked on the Ethereum 2.0 testnet.
Yeah.
So, I think that this is another indication of why Ethereum is such a viable investment class.
Well, you look at on-chain data. So on-chain data, Glassnode, you guys all know, if you've followed our channel, we use a variety of tools, including Glassnode. You look at token metrics, you look at Trade the Chain. There's a variety out there. Even Into the Block has a certain amount, especially Into the Block, they have a lot of on-chain data that can start to kind of reveal a little bit about what's happening there in terms of the traffic, but also in these potential opportunities around some of these coins and some of these projects, especially like ETH, especially as ETH 2.0 gets close to launch. I think this is going to be a thing. So the fact that people are saying, hey, hold till 2022, that's where it's going to get really interesting.
Listen, I'm Ethereum long.
Okay. Well, you and the whales, check out this article. ETH Whales go on a buying spree. 1.65 million. That was coins. That was coins. 1.65 million.
Ethereum is cheap. I think that if you're a long-term investor, you know that the upside is there. And I think that, to your point around just coming in at, an entry point that's below 3,000. Listen, I think that the projections say that ETH's going to go to 18,000 in the next few years or so.
2025.
2025. So listen, as I said, I'm ETH long.
Here's the deal. Sentiment right here. Look at this tweet. Whales that hold between 10,000 and 1 million ETH in their respective wallets now own a cumulative total of 60.52 million coins.
And
This is Michael Saylor level.
Okay, but hold on a second. We've got Mark Cuban that we know holds ETH. We have Elon Musk just announced that he also is an ETH holder. So I mean, like when we talk about whales, like these are the folks that we're talking about here.
Yeah, I like the whole aspect of, one, the fact that a lot of people are coming out and looking at Ethereum as a really serious secondary, position.
Sure.
And the fact that people have kind of openly kind of gone in this direction, even Saylor mentioned the word Ethereum for the first time a few weeks back, which to me just kind of started to kind of indicate a little bit of a power play, I think. But listen, these whales jumped in, they got all over this thing, and we'll see.
Paul, I'm also going to add that on June 14th, Bloomberg reported that Goldman was planning to launch futures and option contracts on ETH.
Yep.
So there's a lot of momentum, there's a lot of interest at the retail and institutional levels. So all buying signs.
Do you think that it can overcome the $2,700 resistance? Because this article that we're jumping to here, this was the big one. Ethereum has a price overcome 50-day and the 200-day moving averages. But the $2,700 mark is really kind of the one where everybody's pointing to as being kind of, it's kind of like the Bitcoin 42,000, 41,500 that a lot of people are looking at.
I mean, listen, I think that with the London Hardfork coming up in the next, the next few days or so, a few weeks, there's going to be a lot of volatility. And I think that, it's a little bit too early to tell what kind of impact that'll have. But I'll say that if you're skewing towards longer term, and by longer term, I mean like 6 months, a year and beyond, this is a great investment to be in.
Price extended the bullish run towards the major resistance level at 2,700. ETH is currently changing hands at 23. That was up 7%. So nice upswing in the market. I know that you guys are really into it. There you go. There's your hard fork date, less than 10 days away. The blockchain is expected to undergo its 11th backward incompatible upgrade, which is the hard fork.
Oh, yeah. I'm super excited about it. I mean, I think that there is such an appetite for environmentally sound corporations, cryptos, et cetera. And I think that migrating to proof of stake and the reduction in energy required to mine is super attractive. And I think that when you overlay that with the different applications associated with how the Ethereum blockchain is being utilized, again, going back to NFTs being a multi-billion-dollar market in and of themselves, there's a lot of excitement, enthusiasm, and it just seems to me that all signs are pointing towards a bullish run long term.
Yeah, which is to your point, Finders, this article here, experts predict Ethereum will reach 4,500 this year.
Paul, I'm not making this up.
Yeah, 4,500 this year, 18,000 in 2025.
Yep.
These are insane numbers. So you're all in on this is the latter half of the bull run.
I think that there is a lot of opportunity. I think that right now the markets are still emaciated, right? I think that a lot of folks, there's apprehension, but it's a really good time to buy if you ask me.
Yeah.
When you see Bitcoin at close to 40,000 coming off of its low at 29, we know that 65 being the
previous all-time high. Yep.
Being the all-time high, like there's a lot of room to grow. We know that at Ethereum, like breaking through that 2,900 line of resistance, I think it'll run up to above 3,200 was where ETH was at its high. 3,200?
No, 4,000.
Yep. 4,000. Yeah. All I have to say to you is it's cheap. Buy the dip.
So this basically Finder, an investing companion app, released its Ethereum price prediction poll results. These were based on a poll and revealed a bullish sentiment, which was basically 2742 people saying, "Yep, this is going to the moon, 4,500 by December."
I can't say that I disagree.
Yeah. So there you go. All right, let's take a look at Trade the Chain. I want to kind of validate this when it comes to sentiment action and where ETH is going on the 7-day chart here on Trade the Chain. Let's take a look quickly and zoom in on this. Trading at 2274 right now in the last 24 hours. Market cap still 265 billion. That's a big one. And of course, tweet volume is up a lot for this, which is another 6% versus their average. You kind of see sentiment moving fairly soft right here in the pre-run-up of July 20th. A big jump right here with some of the hard fork news. I think this had a lot to do with that, but not a lot of price action. So still holding it around what was around 2,000 to the 2,100, 2,150 mark. Then we saw this little bubble right here that came out of nowhere. Again, this was, is this for real? Is this for real? Oh my God, the sky is falling. And then boom, off she goes again. And the thing almost hit the which I think is where we've got to get back to, which is that 2,400 position. So interesting, but you can kind of see this sentiment bubble right here. Holy moly.
I think folks are really excited, and we'll see if that excitement translates to buying.
Yeah, yeah. I look back at some things that we looked at some time ago on ETH, and that was understanding where the sentiment movement was and the action on amplification. And a lot of the alignment that we were looking at was kind of pointing to the potential. And a lot of people have been looking at mid to late July as being a breakout period. And sure enough, we had a little bit of a bubble. Now, here's the big question, because I want to get your input on this.
Okay.
Do you think this is a bull trap?
Do I think it's a bull trap?
Yeah. Do you feel like this is just, because there's some people talking bull trap here.
No, I actually don't think that. And the reason is because I think that there's been a lot of development. Like the developer community, within the Ethereum ecosystem is so passionate. They're so committed to ensuring that the system runs smoothly, and also reducing gas fees. I think that that's another aspect of why where the incentive lies to really consider ETH, because gas fees was such a deterrent. And now with the transition to proof of stake, you'll see a pretty drastic reduction in gas fees.
Sure.
And again, when you're talking about NFTs and things of that nature, at one point there was you could literally be charged 3 digits in fees.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was insane. And I think that, the developers heard the rallying cry of the community loud and clear. And it remains to be seen how folks will react. But again, I'm feeling very bullish.
Good. All right. So not a bull trap.
Not in my opinion.
All right. So
time will tell.
Back to the TradingView chart here. Sentiment scored. This was right here on July 17th. Which was right around July 20th. Right here is the run range. And that was a 68.34, which is a big sentiment score, along with the amplification at 52.39, which again, our scoring looks at amplification after a sentiment flow that we look at, which sentiment is just kind of like what Trade the Chain does, where you look at a variety of different social platforms, you score it against what people's sentiment is. The amplification is the metric that is a forward-looking indicator. That's the one that usually will pick out whether or not there's a lot of that consumer confidence moving. And amplification showed 52.39, which was good, solid. Our amplification really showed an acceleration to 54.09, and sure enough, there is where it fell. And we saw another zone right here in this little bit of a dip after it made it almost to 2,400. Of 70.22, still holding, which gives me another significant sign as we look to chart ETH out a little further. It does give me another good bullish indicator that ETH is still got a lot of play left, and we may see this start to grab the coattails of Bitcoin.
Listen, not that I'm an ETH maximalist, but let's just say it does take up a large percentage of my portfolio.
You're an ETH gal. I like it. All right, so if you guys are checking us out on the podcast, you're listening to this in your Tesla or your Maybach, or maybe you're a Lambo guy. I don't know, whichever. But you're listening to the podcast over there. Give us some stars. That's how we get your feedback. If you like the show, great. Of course, if you're on
YouTube, we definitely want to make sure that you're subscribing. We definitely want to make sure we hear from you in the comments. Listen, sharing is caring. There's a lot of great insights that you have to share. We want to hear them. So comment below.
Yeah, feedback is very key.
It's a gift.
Yeah, it is. We've had some good feedback on you. They like you.
Do they now? I like you too.
The commenters like you, so that's good. We love to hear that. And we are getting, as you guys know, we're bringing in a handful of more new hosts around the show. We are looking at launching some new segments that are getting to be really popular here on TechPath, and the Paul Barron Network. So of course, stay tuned for those things, because those are going to be coming out very soon. Be on the watch for that. If you have an idea for a show, you can shoot that to our producers, which is just producer@revernetworks.com, or hit me up on Twitter @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.